All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Modern Life. My name is Sam, here today with Stacy.
Hi.
And Tabby.
Mm-hmm.
And we are talking about one of the greatest movies of all time today, Easy A. But before we get in that, we're obviously going to do our modern thoughts. Can't forget about that. So let's go ahead and get going.
Make God a promise, right here and right now, that we will remain pure and chaste until marriage.
We promise.
Awesome, 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 awesome. I love you guys. God loves you guys. Now let's change lives today.
All right, who wants to start with their modern thought today?
I'll go. Stacy never goes, so.
Stacy's like, the girl doesn't want to get, don't pick on me. In the back of the class.
Exactly. I've been thinking about Todrick Hall. His newest album just came out. It's called House Party Part 1.
Who is that?
I tried to show you, and you were like, I don't want to watch this, so I'm going to tell you about it.
Is that the Pussy Pop music video?
Pussy Pop.
Or whatever.
No idea what you guys are talking about.
There was this, like, insane music video you showed me.
Yeah, I've seen it 30 times.
Oh, my God.
Okay, and I watched the making of this music video. So the song is called Nails, Hair, Hips, Heels.
Nails,
It's
hair, hips,
heels. It's so good.
No.
And
I can just tell from the sound of it that I would like it.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why Todrick Hall is a great artist and performer, and you can just be quiet. So,
He seemed like a good performer. I just didn't think the song was good.
like, following his career and, like, what he's been doing, I would put him up there with people like Janelle Monáe and probably Lady Gaga, too, in a sense that it's beyond just being, like, a pop star and a musician. There's a definite sense of identity and the kind of message they want to convey, and just overall having this like vision of themselves and their music. They're just like artists to me. It's not like the music industry like churning out like another thing. He's definitely a queer icon. I know people say that all the time now, but he's out there, representing the queer community. He was also just in Taylor Swift's newest video, but who wasn't? Like, everybody's in that video. And this music video for Nails, Hair, Hips, Heels, he has 70 dancers in that video, and it's insane. Like, more and more people just keep coming out and being part of this insane choreography. And he originally had a lot of lady dancers in it because a lot of dancers are female, and he's like, no, especially because this comes around like, Pride Month, I want this to be like an all guys thing, and everybody's wearing heels. And he thought he wasn't going to find 70 dancers who were male and could work in heels, but he did. It's watching it without the music, watching them just do it over and over and over again for the video. It's so loud because everybody's wearing heels and everybody's, dancing and stomping around. And
they kept that. They kept the sound of that in the video?
No, not in the video, in the making of.
Oh, got it.
And it's just incredible. Like, my legs hurt just watching it. Like, the choreography is amazing. Everything flows together. Like, you have more groups and groups of people coming in. Everybody's doing their own thing, and it looks amazing.
My legs were sore for the next week.
And I don't know. It's just one of those moments where I'm like, wow, like this is to me like an important moment in art because somebody's like out there doing their own thing. So I really appreciate that.
The music video was good. I just didn't care.
You
for
didn't
the
like the song, yeah.
It reminded me of like the song Lady Gaga had in *The Star Is Born* when it's just like, where you come around with an ass like that, and like
it sounds good to me.
No, it's like.
But he does have all different kinds of songs.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just that's the first song I've heard, and I didn't.
I don't know if it is. Maybe if I played you another song, you'd be like, "Oh, I've heard that song before." So
okay.
But yeah, that's it. Who wants to go next?
Well, on a more depressing note, I know we touched on this at some point in one of the podcasts. Those there's more to add now. Those people Facebook hires as moderators.
No, we never talked about that on the podcast. Sure? We talked about it You and me talked about it.
Anyways, so there's all this terrible stuff that gets posted on Facebook by people, right? Like people murdering other people and like
gang members,
just
rapes,
craziest stuff. And so in order for that not to show up in your Facebook feed, Facebook hires these outside companies to hire basically contractors to moderate. Like one person will moderate anywhere from 1 to 200 posts a day, and basically just taking all the bad stuff off of Facebook. But that means someone, like an actual person, has to sit there and look at those posts and decide whether like to delete them or not. And so this came out a little while ago about how these people they have to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they're getting like PTSD because they have to watch like, you know, close to 1,000 posts a week of just horrible stuff.
They're also very young and getting paid minimum wage or barely.
Well, they're getting paid
minimum wage.
So yeah, they're getting paid like $15 an hour, which in the states where those people are hired, like Florida, and there's another center in like Phoenix, like $15 an hour. Like the minimum wage there is like $7-8 an hour, you know, so $15 an hour. Like that's how they were able to get people to even do this job, because in those areas, $15 an hour is like way better than a lot of those other types of jobs, like doing a call center or something like that. Anyways, these people have to sign non-disclosure agreements. They don't get paid that well. It's usually, it's like the lower class people. People are just desperate to have a job. And so things have gotten so bad at these centers that 3 people, so there's a big article, I think it was on theverge.com, 3 people like broke their non-disclosure agreement to this reporter who has also over the past months just visited all these centers and interviewed all these people.
Which is tough to get in, right? Because I know the employees have to drop off. They're very isolated. They have to drop off their phones at the beginning of the shift.
Yeah, I think so.
It's very regulated.
Anyways, you're just getting, like, they're just, the companies that hire people to do this job, they're just trying to find bodies, like, to fill the chairs at the desk, because it's an insane job. Like, you're just trying to find anyone who's willing to do it. And so you're not really getting the greatest group of people in there. It's like a completely dysfunctional work environment where, like, I mean, one guy said stuff always gets stolen and people always get into fights, and it's like a high school basically, and there's like workplace romances that they'll get into fights about, and there's only one of the centers only had one bathroom for the entire building, so then there's always like the toilets are clogged or people will like poop on the walls. Like, it sounds absolute. It's like hell. It sounds insane. And so one of the people they interviewed that broke his non-disclosure agreement, he was just walking through the process of his, like, he was recalling this one day where he got so upset about the posts he had to watch. It was really disturbing, where I'm not going to say, if you go and read the article, like, it's insane what these people have to watch. And this was one of the milder things he explained. There was this day we had to watch this post of these kids who find this iguana, and one of the kids picks the iguana by the tail and just starts like fucking smashing it against the street until it's like a bloody pulp. And that was like,
that's not that.
That's nothing compared. It was disturbing the way he explained it, but it's nothing compared to some of these other posts these people have to see. The thing is, whatever the specific Facebook guidelines are, it was like technically still okay to have that post on the internet, so he wasn't allowed to take it down, but it was a post that kept getting flagged, so he had to keep watching that video. Oh, like it would keep coming up in his computer of videos to review, so we had to watch this iguana get like smashed to pieces over and over and over again, but he wasn't able to take the video down. Like, it's just completely insane. They interviewed people at Facebook and they're like, oh yeah, we're trying to make it better and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you know, hopefully this is just something like a computer will do down the road. Like, it's just crazy to me that this is something, it's like out of a sci-fi movie from 20 years ago, where it's like, we're going to make you work in this building and make you watch this horrible stuff, and you don't have a way out because you're poor and we're not paying you that much, so it's really hard to quit your job, and you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement so you can't talk to anyone about it. It's absolutely crazy to me that this is going on.
And also the fact that there's no psychiatric help provided after you leave the job. And then during the job, you can go visit somebody, but only for 7 minutes a day. And people usually use that time to like take a break or go to the bathroom or like.
Right, and one of the counselors there, he said to a guy one time, he's like, I don't even know how to help you. It's just so beyond, because these people are just getting PTSD at their computer desk, and it's like they'll have little like meditation rooms or tell them to go play with Legos. That's like a real thing, and it's like how do you help someone who does insane stuff like this? Like, these psychiatrists aren't trained for that, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I read about yesterday.
That's dark. Okay, so my modern thought is just to give kind of a shout out to Cracker Barrel. It's a restaurant that it's like in the South, sometimes some places in the Midwest.
Have you ever been to a Cracker Barrel?
I have actually, because I did live in Ohio, and they have actually pretty good food. It's kind of like an IHOP, but like better, like more country style. Yeah.
So it's like a breakfast place?
Yeah, it's a breakfast place.
Sounds like a barbecue place.
It's not.
Welcome to Cracker Barrel. Would you like some pulled
it's
pork?
like a full breakfast place. Anyway, in Tennessee, they have this. Well, Cracker Barrel has this like strict, like zero tolerance policy for discriminatory treatment or harassment of any sort. And in Tennessee,
So does the government.
yeah, I know, right? Okay. Yeah, but this is the funny part about the story. So this pastor who also works as a detective in Tennessee, in Knox County, Tennessee.
What does this business card look like?
I don't
I
know.
want a movie made about this guy.
This guy's amazing.
It's like, I see it on one side, it says pastor, and then if you flip the business card around, he's like, private investigator.
No, it's like a detective for the state, not private investigator.
Oh, okay.
No, this guy like legitly works for the government.
How does he have time?
And he like literally, his whole message is anti-LGBT. I always mess this up. LGBT. He like talks about like how the government should execute them and like just they should all be burned at the stake.
Sounds like the South.
And yeah, except that I can't believe that he's a detective. That just blows my mind. And a pastor at that point. Well, they guess
out.
like he tried to have like a meeting at Cracker Barrel, and they told him like
A meeting?
yeah, like a meeting for his church, and they told him like, no, you're not welcome here. And I think
Go
that
Cracker Barrel.
I think that's cool that they are willing to stand up for something, especially in an area that necessarily isn't against that, because there's a huge client base, and they're actually willing to like not only stand up for it, but like post it on Instagram and like really like fight against it a little bit. And I think that's cool in a time when like there's a lot of people that are not doing it, especially when it can hurt their like actual sales and stuff like that. So
I think it's just a credit to the South. I think we think of the whole South as people like that.
Yeah, and I think
there's a lot more
That's
sane
true.
people.
I'm
It's
sorry.
true.
I want to apologize.
yeah, I just thought it was awesome.
It's like everyone thinks of Germans as people in lederhosen. That's like
That's just Bavaria. They're
that's like what people in Bavaria do like for 1 week of the year, and then it's just we think of the South as like like you're gonna get the worst of the worst like that a lot, but I think there's a lot more sane people than people realize.
Yeah. So that's my shout out. Like the company, there's a lot of companies out right now that I'm not super proud of, but this one in particular, I think.
Go Cracker Barrel.
Speaking of religious extremism, let's talk about ECA.
Hey.
And that was my lead-in.
God, you're amazing with those lead-ins. I didn't know where you were going with that.
So just a quick summary. EZA, starring Emma Stone, came out in 2010. It's directed by Will Gluck, and it's the story of...
The story of a young girl
high school in
finds herself.
Ojai, who lies about having had sex and then does favors for people in situations like being their...
It's like a fake prostitute.
Fake prostitute, that's right.
And she
basically
gets paid in gift cards.
Home Depot gift cards.
Which right there, these kids have a lot of money in this movie. So
It's
why not just give her cash? Why are they giving her gift cards? Anyone think about this?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Wait, why do you think like all of them have a lot of cash?
Ojai's pretty...
No, it's like farming company. There's like a lot of farmers there.
It's freaking expensive. If you go on that main street, which shows up in the movie a lot, like everything is so
maybe the main
expensive.
street, but like I'm telling you, there's a lot of like farming communities and like farming families that don't have a lot of money there. And I know that because my sister's just married into one. So like her entire family, which are ridiculously religious as well, they're from there, and like they raise their kids in like all 3 boys in one room. Like I don't think everybody
I
that
see
lives
it
there.
a lot like Boulder, and when I went to visit, it reminded me a lot of Boulder, where a lot of things are really expensive, but then it's also like at the same time like a hippie community. And like Ojai's back. We had Ojai in our Wind River episode. Ojai keeps coming back. I'm not the biggest fan of Ojai. I think
A lot of people love Ojai.
because it reminds me of Boulder.
Everything reminds me of Boulder.
Everything reminds you of.
That's not true. Just Ojai. I just have trouble with, especially white people, spiritualizing everything, and everything is about like, oh, my karma and the Buddha and my granola is so elevated. Like, I just struggle with that.
I don't really get like a hippie vibe from Ojai. I get more of a religious vibe from Ojai, but in the same internalization of the like everything becomes about that, and they're really good people and they're really nice people, but they're like super religious. Kind of like I think the movie actually did a nice job of like showing how.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a parody, but it's not, because you've met somebody like
that.
Amanda Bynes' character in the movie. So the way I remembered this movie was, this is the movie that has one of the best lines in it. That's one of the only things I remembered, is the teacher going, "Don't forget, tomorrow's Earth Day." I thought that was like one of the greatest written lines. Like,
Doesn't in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
That's
He's
the
like, "What are you
cafeteria.
doing? Don't forget tomorrow's Earth Day."
I
Any
think that
other
he has.
line?
I think he has like some of the best lines in the movie. Like the whole like when he goes up and catches the kid smoking, and he like breaks in it. Smoking gives you. It leads to pregnancy, and just like
mismatched tires.
mismatched tires.
It's so great.
So brilliant.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yes,
Mr.
so
Griffith.
in the commentary, they actually said those films were those scenes were pretty long to shoot, because giving him a script was completely pointless, and he would come up with a new line every take, and every single time, because it was something new and unexpected. Like Emma Stone could not keep it together, so they had to redo it, because he's just always hilarious. And
Have you guys seen any of his other stuff?
A few of them, yeah.
He was in a
haven't.
long-standing TV show called Airplane, and he is hilarious in
Yeah.
it. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it is really funny.
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb, and he's just always doing these little side parts.
He always plays like the side.
He's phenomenal.
He was in Tombstone? Who was he in Tombstone?
He was like the stupid.
Oh, he was one of the bad guys.
He was one of the bad guys. He was the stupid
yeah,
one
I
that
just got his face.
literally was always just the idiot.
Little baby face.
Yeah.
So, in relationship to that character and his marriage falling apart, I want to ask you guys how you feel about Emma Stone running up to him and telling him about his wife's infidelity.
I think it was the right move.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it was the right move, but I understand her complexity about it, because the idea of like being the one that has to pass the bad news on, and the way she went about doing it, I think that was where her internal struggle. Not that she ended the marriage, but that the way she did it. Like it was so like she just like ran up and like blurted it out.
Oh,
Well,
sure. Yeah.
that's how Emma Stone says it in the commentary too. Like maybe she wasn't wrong to do it, but the way she went about it was wrong. And I even disagree with that, because what is the right way to tell somebody that? She walks up, she relays the information very quickly, very directly. She doesn't beat around the bush. She then apologizes and like runs away to have this dude deal with his feelings, because she's a student and she's not even like. To me, I'm like, how else are you gonna tell somebody?
That's the thing. I feel like her and the teacher have kind of like...
Yeah, but just
They
like
have a good
running up and blurting
relationship.
it out was just like, I don't know. I have some bad news. I mean, like there's like
Right,
a
that's
precursor. You know what I'm saying? Like something, like not just running out.
Rip
like
the Band-Aid off, Stacy. Just go.
I'm just saying, like to turn someone's entire world upside down like that, and then just to walk away and not offer any support or any.
But
You know what I'm
she's
saying? Like
just a
there's
student. What
I know that, but at the
support?
same time, like they do have somewhat of a back and forth, like they talk, you know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like there was a little bit, but then at the same time, like I don't think they could have done it any other way
Right.
in the movie. Like I think it was brilliantly done in the movie, and I think it is done exactly how someone who was in her emotional state would have handled it. But in reality, like the reason she feels upset about it is because how it happened and how she went about it.
And Stacy also pointed out that for the teacher to have given the student chlamydia, she would have had to have gotten it not that long before. So
Yeah.
she has been
she's
cheating
been
on her
cheating
husband.
I mean, she's not. I mean, she already says she hints at that like several times throughout the movie, but it's like you have to kind of pick up on it because some people I think feel like, oh, she just had sex this one time with it. No. She's been sleeping around on her husband. They haven't been having sex for a while.
There's that one line she has where she's talking about how sluts can't admit it to themselves.
Yeah,
and
like
she's
when
like,
can
trust me. Like that's
yeah,
kind
like
of the
she's
hint right there.
admitting it. And just so you know, I said the wrong name. It's not called the show isn't called Airplane. It's called Wings.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I forgot to write.
wings are on an airplane.
It's very close.
When that actor is like walking across that main intersection of Ojai and he's on the phone and he's like, I just said it was Olive Pendergast, like I didn't, and then it cuts to the teacher. I was surprised that it was a teacher.
Oh, I was so not
because
surprised.
I thought it was Amanda Bynes' character, like, oh, she's been like, she's a Jesus freak, but she's been having like sex all along. I thought that was going to be the twist. So I like didn't suspect that.
Yeah, I didn't see that the first time either.
Oh, really? I
Stacey,
saw
of
it.
course, coming a mile away.
Sorry. Usually, like a lie like that to the parent, there's like got to be some kind of like it's not going to be so basic. I just feel like there needed to be more of a plot line. So that's why I knew. But
I want to talk about Emma Stone's family in the movie, who is one of the greatest movie families of all time. I think.
It keeps popping up on social media.
oh, they're
like
referenced
Stanley
all the
Tucci and all.
time. They're referenced all the time in the chemistry between Stanley Tucci and I forget
Stanley
her name.
Tucci?
Stanley Gucci.
Gucci.
Patricia Clarkson.
Yeah, they like have such
It's
great
the
chemistry, and the
whole-
whole that you know they worked before together,
Right.
And they actually like agreed to take the role
they're really
together.
good friends,
Yeah, like
yeah.
really good friends.
But like the family's such a tight unit, and you're like, man, I wish my family was.
That family's not real.
No, of course it's not. There's like everyone's way too cool with each other. There seems to be no family drama at all.
I like actually had a friend. I think one of the reasons why I like this family so much is because I actually had a friend in high school whose family was much like this. Like they would banter back and forth. The kids were always like behaving themselves, but they were like all very. So it does exist. It's just not a
But the
normal
whole thing
situation.
of like, oh, you got in trouble at school, like spell it with your P's, and we're not gonna ground. Like there's just very like free, loosey goosey.
But not like the whole like hippie where they don't care what you do kind of thing. Like I don't know. I think it's not a completely unrealistic. I just think it's not exactly
It's fantastic.
normal. It's amazing though. It's like what I wish my family life was like.
There's so many great lines. Like when the son goes like, "Oh, I won this spelling contest," and the mom's like, "Everything has spell check these days," and she goes, "Just kidding. I'm so proud of you."
Oh, my favorite is when he like yells at like, "Wait, what? I thought you were gonna wait to tell him that he's adopted."
Oh yeah.
He, like, slams the cupboard. What? I love the spell it with your P's when both are like, spell your P's. Oh yeah, spell it with your P's.
And they just keep going T T T T T T T.
That's fantastic. And the dog they have, I
You
want
love
that
the dog.
even though it'd be a nightmare in the summer.
It's too long. The hair's too long.
Very
Oh,
long hair.
those dogs don't shed.
They don't.
No, that's a you train. You have to trim it.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the perfect dog.
Okay, goodbye, Bella. Our dog's going by the way.
No, those are grooming dogs. They don't shed at all.
All right.
Interesting.
What are they?
Yeah. They're
That'll
hypoallergenic.
be our next dog.
I just wanted to point out one more line that I thought just the humor in this is very, very like old school, and the jokes are very like academic.
Like everything is so smart.
Yes.
Like every line, and there's so many connections with everything. Like even like Olive Pender, what's her last name again?
Pendergast?
Pendergast. You know that's like a. What's it? It's a.
I don't. Tell me.
Give me a minute. It means
There's no time.
if you redo when your words when you can switch around the I love. She does one in it. Like her
The
first name
anagram.
is Olive, and if you like move it around, it spells I love. Or her last name is one as well, and it's for
What is it?
An anagram.
Anagram. That's what I'm thinking of, and it's for like. Go ahead. Pretend shag.
What?
Yeah.
Pretend shag?
Pretend shag.
Just sounds like someone on the internet figured this out. This doesn't seem
No,
like
they
it was
actually
on
talked
purpose.
about it.
I believe it.
I
Yeah.
love pretend
believe it.
shag.
No, like if you move the letters around, it spells pretend shag, just like her name. Olive spells I love.
I love pretend shag.
But like one of my other favorite jokes is the mom being like, "There's a gentleman caller. He's
Oh my God,
asking
that
for your
whole
hand
line.
in marriage." It just reminds me of the Glass Menagerie, and like, there's that Sylvia Plath joke too, which like that is a red flag. That date rapey guy like makes a Sylvia Plath joke, and then she's like, "Oh, if we run out of things, like we'll just stick our heads in the oven," and then he doesn't get it. 'Cause that's how Sylvia Plath like killed herself.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, you suck. Like he doesn't know anything basically.
One of the things that doesn't work for me in the movie is her like best friends.
I only noticed that rewatching it last
I
night
think it's
that
just
doesn't work for me.
a very forced character in the way that it's just a little over the top. It seems like.
Well, she's like the guidance counselor where she refuses to listen to her.
Right.
And she keeps talking over her. And then at the end of the movie, you don't have them reconciling and her being like, "Oh, I should have listened to you." You only have Olive being like, "I'm sorry, I lied to you." There's not a mutual coming together. You know, I just feel like I needed like one extra scene with them or
Sure.
And the other thing that's really strange is that she suddenly joins the religious cult, and then her cardboard poster is what is it? It's one of the commandments.
Exodus
2014. Thou shalt not commit adultery, which is one of the themes in the movie, especially with the Scarlet Letter. But Emma Stone isn't married in the movie, so I don't know why they keep like saying she's committing adultery. I'm like,
Yeah,
why are
it
you
was a
so
little weird.
dumb?
Just religious. I don't know if she joins the religious group there. I think she just is like
Mad.
exactly. She's like
trying to get
doing
back.
Yeah, but
whatever.
she's
Anyway.
still dumb if she thinks
Oh, yeah.
she doesn't know what adultery is.
I just don't buy their friendship. Like from start to finish, like this girl is.
Oh, I do, because her friend is super obnoxious, so I don't think she has a lot of friends. And then Emma Stone's character is very like isolated, so she's just like, yeah, okay, I'll get along. Like I can sort of get along with this person. Like we'll be friends. I think it's just too.
They balance each other out.
That, and I just don't. I think they're both kind of really weird in their own right, and they
Right.
don't have a lot of other friends, so they're just kind of like hanging out. That's
can
the
see
vibe
that.
I get.
I don't know. I just think Olive's like smarter than that. Like I just feel like her friend is not a very good friend from start to finish. She's always like pushy and bossy. I don't know. I just feel like she would have better taste.
Yeah, she's just a little much. Her friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the guidance counselor, Lisa Kudrow's character, is also just a little over the top. But I mean, it all works.
It works for me, just like that line where she keeps going, "Who would you believe? Who would you believe? Who would you believe?" Like, I think it's hilarious. Stacey and I do hate her eye makeup. I don't know why it's not blended out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
and
that.
it's all I can look at is her eyeshadow not being blended out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
I
that.
think we have to reach out to the makeup persons and see what's going on there.
The other thing that's kind of, I mean, and this is like a high school teeny drama movie, but is the very beginning when she's like, "I'm not the pretty girl, I'm the clumsy girl who falls over," and it's like, it's Emma Stone. She conforms to every like Hollywood beauty standard. So what the message?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, she's always been kind of like the offbeat one. She even conformed herself. Like, look at her now versus how she was then.
I'm
like-
sorry, like she's thin, she's white, like oh, I'm not. It's just as somebody watching that is, you see this in movies over and over where it's somebody who's like perfect and they're like, but I'm not the pretty girl in school, and it's like, yeah, you
No,
are.
I don't.
Like,
I don't think she is. She doesn't. Okay, like she doesn't really have much going. Like she doesn't really have a butt. She doesn't really have much of a chest. Like she's got almost like a. it's not like she has like a flat.
No, she's not
stomach
perfectly
in the
flat
movie.
stomach.
No,
she has like
her-
a little bit of a belly.
Not that she's not
not a belly.
pretty.
Like if
You
you
don't
see her in the
notice that?
shorts, she has like a little like she's
no,
not.
she's 2-dimensional. She's like so
No, she's just like a
thin.
flat board, and she's just a little like it's early Emma Stone. She's a little awkward looking. Not that she's not pretty, but she's not like the blonde bombshell from school.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they don't like that was like the start of them like putting someone who may not be like the conventional beauty in like a lead role, and then they were like in Duff, like another great teen comedy. They actually do a better job, I think, in that one of casting the
Right.
outcast, but. It was like a
That's
start. You got to realize that there's got to be a starting point where they start to like make these because they do it. And I mean, like, look at in all the '80s ones. Who always played the 16 Candles?
Molly
Ringwald. Like she wasn't traditionally beautiful, but she was beautiful. And I feel like they kind of take that redhead role, like as the off kind of girl.
No, I mean, I know it's different looking back on it, but I still want to like analyze it and look at it and be like, it still sends a certain message about, you know, beauty and what's acceptable and what's not. Like, because you have that fat guy in the movie, and the only thing he's ever done wrong is like, he's slightly overweight, so nobody wants to bang him, and he's like the scum of the earth. Like, it's, you know, it's just all Hollywood movies are like this, and that's just how it is, kind of.
I don't know. It's also just like high school, especially
Yeah.
especially in California.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the
I
way
don't
it
know.
is.
Growing up in California, like that's very much what it
Yeah.
was like. Like the blonde bombshell was the prettiest cheerleader. You know what I mean? Or like it's a very vain place to
Right.
grow.
I think high
Right.
school's just vain in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a problem with any of the stuff in the movie.
But because it's so vain, like who in high school thought about anything other than themselves? The fact that so many people would care if somebody in high school had sex, it's like, it's a movie, you know? Like that's not...
I don't know. Like I remember like word traveled in high school. Like, people
Oh, yeah, I
cared.
did.
You
Yeah.
cared if people had sex?
No, I didn't
like,
care,
to
but you
this-
would hear about it. Not
Right,
that I
right.
cared.
No, I'm just saying it's
Yeah,
a
but
movie
it's also
and
not. I mean, it's not
exaggerated.
exactly the same. It's like a smaller town. It's like a religious-based town. Like it's kind of a different
true, it's a
environment.
tiny town.
It's kind of like supposed to be kind of a different environment. So the gossip is different, and what affects you is different. So like I mean, definitely spreads. You definitely get that. I had a similar situation in high school with word traveling and like
the truth
people-
comes out.
Oh, shut up.
That's it? That's where you're going to end that story?
Is there any pictures of you with a red A on your chest?
No, but I definitely went through like it was a little earlier than high school. It was like 8th grade where I had like a sexual experience with a best friend, and then it got out, and then like all of my friends kind of turned on me. Damn. And I went completely like the opposite, where like I stopped playing sports, I stopped everything, and like it was like prom queen that year, and then turned out the next year I was like
You were
I
prom
didn't-
queen in 8th grade?
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh, we're finding
How
out
is
a
that?
lot here.
How can you be prom queen in 8th grade?
Because I went to a private school. It's different rules.
What?
Yeah, 7th,
There's
8th
a
grade.
prom in
There's
8th grade?
a prom in 8th grade, and then
What is
there's another one
happening?
your senior year. And I
It's
was
not a
like,
prom.
yeah, but
8th
I mean,
grade
like,
is still middle school. How is there a prom?
because it wasn't middle. It was that I'm telling you that's how it worked in my school. Like there was a prom in 8th grade, and there was a prom. I went through 7th through 12th.
There's a prom every year starting in
No,
8th
just
grade?
8th grade. There's a prom, and your senior year. And I went to a smaller school.
it?
Yeah, we graduated in 8th grade to go to high school.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Kinds of weird things going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it was a very similar situation, and I like got fed up with the entire like social system and like went anti-social from that point on. So I mean, it does happen.
And now she's the Stacy we know and love today.
Anyway,
The Scarlet Letter jokes I actually really enjoy about Demi Moore. And I think Gary Oldman was in that movie too.
Was he?
Yeah, I
He's
believe
old.
so. And also the foreign film she goes to see is German for The Scarlet Letter.
Yes.
So I just thought that was hilarious.
it's amazing.
Gift cards to the foreign movie theater. So the whole movie is based, her whole downhill tumble starts when she gets into trouble in class for calling that girl a twat, right? Mm-hmm. But the girl called her a skank, and we talked about this during the movie.
Yeah, and personally attacked her.
I don't get how that girl didn't get into trouble.
No,
that didn't make
it's
any sense to me.
nonsense.
That didn't make any sense to me either. But did you know that UK actually rated it like 15 because of using the word twat. So I guess like in some countries, twat is known to be like a worse word than skank.
Right, but it's...
I'm just saying. No, I agree.
It
doesn't make any sense that both of them didn't get in trouble.
And
for
you
that.
can still have both of them get in trouble, and it still works with the story. It's just weird that she didn't have to go to the office or anything.
Yeah.
And then
It's
the
strange
teachers later
that specific teacher wouldn't send her to the office.
Yeah,
like
because the teacher was like, "Oh, it was on your side." It's like, well, then why didn't you just send both of them to the office?
Yeah,
it was a little strange.
I thought it was weird.
What do we think about her whole love story with
He's one
Mr.
of my
Lobster
favorite.
Beaver there?
He's like one of my favorite characters in the entire movie.
His name.
Lobster Todd?
Lobster Todd.
Woodchuck Todd?
I love Todd.
Yeah,
oh
he's
my
amazing.
God, that scene, like, it kills me every time when he's chewing on the log as the beaver and he's like, nang, 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 and then he jumps on the trampoline and he just eats shit because he's wearing that, like, giant beaver outfit. And also when he first comes out as the devil, he just launches his trident, like, into the crowd. And then it cuts away, so we never know what happened.
Is Todd everyone's favorite character?
Todd is.
Oh, there's so many great characters in this. It's really hard to pick one because you have the dad, you have the mom, you have Todd, you have.
Well, I think what I like about Todd is he's not just the love interest who just exists and doesn't do anything. Yeah. He's got his own stuff going on. He's got a job. He's a mascot. He's like partying. He's got his sister's rehearsal dinner, whatever. Like, you know, he's living his own life.
He seems to be the cool kid, but yeah, he's not like, doesn't seem to be in a clique with anybody. Right. He's just like,
everybody gets along with Todd.
Everyone likes Todd, even though he's like a jock, but also super dorky at the same time because he's like the school mascot. And he's willing, and he's like the guy singing in the restaurant, the birthday song with the lobster. Like, he's just...
Hip, hip.
Todd doesn't care, man.
It seems like he's got his shit together compared to everybody else.
And also for the audience to know that these two characters are going to be together. I thought it was really interesting that the first line is, you know, Emma Stone says, "Oh, even if he's dressed up in the stupid costume, I still think he's hot." And that's, as audience, that's all you need to know, that there's like an attraction between these two characters. Yeah. Even before you have that scene of them almost kissing when they're kids, like, you already know kind of what's going on, right? Which I appreciate.
When did this movie come out? 2010. So this movie came out when I was a freshman in high school.
Emma Stone was 22 years old.
And I remember, so Emma Stone was like really taken off, and everyone, I remember a lot of people had like this little, like, Emma Stone's really cute, like this little semi-celebrity crush, right? I remember.
Didn't we all?
I remember, so you know at the scene of the movie where they're riding the lawnmower, and they're like both got their fists in the air. I remember one of my high school friends taking that picture, and he photoshopped his face over Todd's face. Oh. It was just him and Emma Stone on the... I don't know why I remember that.
Do I know who it was?
I don't know if you'd know him, no. But I just remember, I don't know why I remember that. I found it so, just the way he photoshopped it, it was just perfect, and it was hilarious. He's like, look, I'm hanging out with Emma Stone, basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The director said he actually felt pretty lucky that they got the rights to the clips of all these 80s movies when it shows that montage. He's like, oh, I didn't think we were going to get like any of these.
It was like a pretty small budget movie. You know?
Yeah, and they all made it.
Has this director done anything else?
He did, not Heidi.
Annie, Peter Rabbit, Friends with Benefits.
Yeah, he did the new Annie movie, which is a great movie.
Oh, he's producing a lot.
He also, he writes a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like producer, writer.
Yeah.
Does like a lot of TV stuff. It hasn't really. Annie was the only other big movie he's made. That's weird. And Friends with Benefits. That's what he directed.
So his vision for this movie was to make everything orange, which I didn't even notice. But there's always an orange.
There is?
Yeah, it's like his like artistic thing. It also has to do with the fact that Ohio is like
what else is orange
community. Like the colors, like the walls will be orange, or there'll be something orange like throughout the entire thing. Yeah.
There's always a basket of oranges at home. Like the thing that falls out of her purse is an orange.
Oh my God, I'm looking at, you're right, the school's
orange.
The school logo thing has orange in it.
It's like yellowish, yeah.
There's a lot, so then all the people in the background are wearing the school jacket, which is all yellow-orange.
Or someone
Emma
will be
Stone is orange.
Always be wearing like a orange sweater or something like that.
Huh. Yeah,
Which fits. It fits with just the light and everything.
Well, it's smart that all the school stuff is orange. So then in the background, the school mascot, like the beaver and the logo, it's all always orange in the background.
And this was a real high school, or it still is a real high school in Ojai.
It's like the main high school, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had.
Is there more than one high school in Ojai?
I don't know the answer to that. They actually had to shoot because they were trying to give you like a typical like high school experience when they were filming it. So they had to take a couple of the scenes and film them at parks, like the center of attention or like the communal area. And like a lot of schools in California don't have that communal area, so they had to shoot like some of the scenes like off campus, like on it like parks to like show the communal aspect.
So Emma Stone's career took off after this, but Mr. Woodchuck Todd, he hasn't done anything.
Nothing at all.
He's like in a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even nominated for a TV award thing.
No, he was the one that was nominated for an Emmy.
Just I want more Todd in my life.
So the director said something in the commentary which I thought was very interesting, and it is related to this clash between digital and film. And he shot this movie in digital, and him and Emma Stone were saying how they preferred it because it's cheaper than film. You don't have to take breaks every 15 minutes. You don't have to interrupt scenes because you have to change a reel.
I think digital makes sense when you're doing a comedy because you can kind of, and especially if you have like the actor who's a teacher and he's constantly making people laugh and improvising, you kind of just want to keep filming and just try to find that perfect moment where
it just reminded me, this was in such stark contrast to Robert Downey Jr., who threw a fit. Do you remember the story? He threw a fit because he had to do a film in digital, so they wouldn't take breaks every 15 minutes. So he would start peeing in bottles and leaving them for the crew
I know that story.
Pick up.
That was in his dark days.
I think that was pretty recent, no?
No, that was like before he went to...
It's just hilarious to me that these like Hollywood starlets are throwing fits because they don't get a break every 15 effing minutes. Meanwhile, who's like your average American working man out there, like tilling the soil? Like,
no, that was when Robert Downey had like lost his mind. That was like before he went to rehab and all that.
Oh, I thought it was like, afterwards.
Oh,
that was like two guys and a girl era of his career. When
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when he was just out of his mind. Hopefully.
Oh,
it was on the set of Iron Man. Just kidding. No.
I mean, most people speak of him pretty nicely now.
I know. I have heard, you know, because I work in a bar in LA, you have some industry people, like, I hear mixed things about Robert Downey.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the bartenders I work with, I guess, bartended, like, he had this big birthday bash down in Malibu, and she said he was super weird to her. Like, I hear mixed things about Robert. He definitely seems like a diva.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
No, thank you.
Yeah. He's an artiste.
I won't go into my rant about how we let men get away with things, and that's it. We're cutting off the TED Talk. I don't like Emma Stone's shoes in this. Emma Stone didn't like her shoes in this.
What are her shoes?
Why is she wearing cork wedges in high school? Who goes to high school wearing high heels? Nobody does this. And I think the thing that bothers me is, like, if she should have worn flats in the beginning, and then when she makes the transformation, like, that's when I'm like, oh, the heels make sense. But she starts off right away wearing these, like, ridiculous cork wedges, and she actually had to, like make a point to wear her Uggs at home. She's like, yeah, I'm not wearing... This character wouldn't wear high heels at home. Like, she's wearing her Uggs at home.
Yeah, no way. Stacey, did anyone wear high heels at your high school?
When they're, like, cleaning, doing detention, and mopping the same... Her mopping is all over the place. There's no organization.
No structure.
Yeah, there were girls wearing high heels to school.
It's California, I believe it.
It was a thing. There was like everybody had like the wedges because they were more comfortable than like actual high heels. But I was a uniform, so it was like you had to wear your Sparks where you could. So like, you had like uniform skirts and uniform shirts. So like girls had to like they like would wear the
Where's the wiggle room?
Yeah. So.
People in Boulder did not wear heels.
I mean, I was wearing tennis shoes and like high socks, but I was doing more of the jock thing. So,
I guess it just didn't make sense to me for that character. You know, like in the beginning, Like,
No, I do see. I don't see her wearing. She's like this dorky girl. I don't think she would wear high heels.
I don't know.
By the way, people in Boulder wear Crocs. It's a stark contrast.
With socks, yeah.
Crocs with socks.
No, they would wear the like toe shoes that had the, what were those called? They're shoes, but each of your toes is like, I don't want.
It's a different world.
Let's
out
not
there.
go back to that. Something else that bothers me is Jesus Freak's headband is constantly falling forward.
Is it?
Onto her face, and I'm like, why is nobody pushing that back or like fixing it in between?
Oh no, that
takes?
was how they wore. Like some people wore.
But it's
their
only
headbands.
in some scenes. It's like up here, like on her forehead, and then in some scenes it's like normally like. It just drives me crazy because her hair is like poking out.
That main Jesus Freak girl, I don't even remember her name.
It's Amanda Bynes.
It is?
Yeah.
I
It was
don't
the
remember
last
the
movie she did
character's
before
name.
she like went off the deep end.
She went off the deep end. What happened?
She was like, went into drugs. Like her career went. She was like huge. She was like a huge up and coming actress.
Oh, I
she
hope
did that
she's
movie.
doing better now.
She is actually. She's trying to get back into acting, but
Okay.
but that's why you don't see her in anything after this because she like literally saw herself in that movie and then like right after that went off the deep end and did a bunch of drugs and like basically like went crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's the last movie she ever did?
Yep.
Holy
and
crap.
now she's
I didn't know that.
trying now in the last year to get back into Hollywood, but she's like burned so many bridges. Like a lot of people are struggling to like give her a chance. Yeah.
Was she like a Disney star or something?
Yeah, she was a Disney star. She did that movie where she plays the soccer player that like basically pretends to be your brother in college because yeah.
Huh.
She did the
This was her last movie. Because I was going to say, I think she does a really good job. in
Yeah,
that
she's
movie.
great.
she did a
hilarious.
phenomenal. She's hilarious. She did a phenomenal job. Like she was an upcoming. Like we all thought she was going to be like one of the bigger comedy acts. And
Born
then
in
she just,
Thousand Oaks, California,
Yep.
right down the street.
Oh no,
Yep.
That was her first mistake right there.
Thousand Oaks.
Getting
Being
born in
born?
Thousand Oaks. There's a lot of like drug use out there in the schools because kids
huge
just get bored.
drug use out there in the schools.
So about the home scenes, there's a lot of scenes with Emma Stone eating, and she said like she actually really likes those scenes.
Well, eating with the family, you mean?
Yeah, and she's like, because people, I've never heard anybody say that they like eating scenes, especially because often the food isn't kept at the appropriate holding
like
temperature,
cold and you
so
gotta do
like
multiple
it goes
takes.
bad, and you're
yeah.
eating all day. And she goes, she was so funny. She was like, "No, you really got to commit. You got to commit to eating." And you're doing it all day, and I am with it.
So she's just like, more fresh meals.
Yeah,
keep
she's like, yeah,
eating
you
it.
never see people like actually eat in these scenes, but I'm there. I'm eating
I
it.
like it.
It made me
like
laugh.
it. Yeah, I never thought about that, huh? You have to like fake eat because if you got a retake, you can't have like half the steak gone all of a sudden, right? You know what
So
I
it's
mean?
a continuity thing. That's why people don't eat.
Right.
And also, you're eating all day, and the food, and sometimes the food isn't the food it is supposed to be, and that's why people are just like cutting things or sipping on their like drinks.
Yeah.
And even that, I remember. This is kind of a tangent, but Lena Headey drinks a lot. Her character drinks a lot of wine in Game of Thrones, and there's scenes of her just getting. The character getting drunk, and they kept substituting it with like cranberry juice or fruit juice. And after a while, she was like, "We gotta do like colored water." Like my brain is popping out of my head because I've consumed so much sugar in the last. She had them like change it to water.
Wait, she originally drank it was like real wine?
No, it was all just like cranberry juice
Oh,
or like pomegranate juice or like something really sugary.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you got to smoke in a scene, you just got to keep smoking. I don't know. Like all those things, I would seem would be ridiculous if you're doing movies. Eating, drinking, smoking.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Right. The one question I have about this is, where's Emma Stone's older brother? And if the family is so tight, why is he never mentioned or never at any of the family things? Because she
He's
says,
away at college.
but then how did she get with his friend from college? Like,
She went out there for the weekend.
She went out there for the weekend? It's just funny that the family
He's probably going to college in like LA or something.
never even mentions him.
Yeah, I don't know.
What happened there? Is this really a
Why?
perfect family? I think we need to get
You only
Dateline.
have-
I don't know why we're psychoanalyzing
You
the
only have
family.
like 2 or 3. You have like 3 family scenes. Why would
That's
they
my
always
spin-off.
talk about the brother?
That's my spin-off where there's like a murder happened.
When you went to Germany when I was in high school, do you think we were talking about you 24/7?
Well, Mom called me every day, so something.
Just saying, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm just trying to be funny. It didn't work.
Who is this brother? And what is he doing? Modern Life Podcast investigates.
You know that SNL sketch where Bill Hader's like the interviewer at one of these like
Crime shows?
crime shows? Something bad always happens, like, oh, and then we found her murdered body, and he's like, like he's all
Like getting
excited.
off on it.
That's terrible.
Bill Hader's the best. So, funny thing you mentioned that. I don't know if you saw this video.
He met the guy.
He met the guy who that is based off
Yeah.
of, and that guy, and Bill Hader was like, Bill Hader's pretty famous at this point. He was like, if you watch the video, Bill Hader is like speechless. Like he loves this guy so much. Bill Hader's being so awkward, and he's like meeting his hero, which is just a weird hero to have. And he's even saying to me, he's like, I don't even know what to say right now. He's like so stumped
So funny.
at meeting this true crime guy. But he's done that a lot on like some late night things too, where he talks about his love for true crime. And there's this one story he always goes back to where I should know that whoever that true crime guy is. I forget his name. I guess there was one part where he's like, so this and this happened. You know, most people would call 911. You didn't do that, did you?
I remember that.
You can look this up on YouTube. It's hilarious.
It's just his eyes popping out of his head. He's like so excited about murder.
Anyway, totally went on a tangent there. What else we got about this movie? It's a great movie.
Another thing this movie demonstrates is in the class the mean student who didn't end up going to detention. She's talking about the Scarlet Letter, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Hester got what she deserved. Like she's a slut." Like analyzing this like book that takes place in the 1600s. Like, oh, they were right to like shame her, and it's very true that women will often be one of the biggest advocates against their own rights, and especially against their own reproductive rights, and really fight very hard against that when it's tied in with a fanatical religious belief too. That it's supposed to be like funny, and it is in the movie, but it's also like, yeah, that happens. Like that's the thing. Like I think that's why maybe the movie's so relatable too, because you knew all these people, you know, growing up, people who were afraid of coming out of the closet, people who, you know, maybe didn't have a good home life, or it rings true in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the movie is how much detail goes into everything. Like even you pointed it out, like the shower scene where she's like giving doing the montage to like Ferris Bueller's Day Off with the mohawk. You guys, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
Homage, you mean?
Homage. Sorry,
Yeah.
apologize.
Anyway,
But even in the background, there's like the card is there
Yeah,
in
the
the
card
shower.
she's listening to.
It's like such little details like that, but they're throughout like the entire thing. Or like her when she's talking to Brandon and he's asking her out for the first time, and she goes, "You're Kinsey. You just told me you're Kinsey 6 gay." And like I didn't know what that meant at the time, and I didn't get the joke, but I guess it's like based off of this guy, Dr. Alfred Kinsey, who used to work for the Indiana University, and he had this system of 1 through 6 to like rate how you were gay. And I just think that like it was like if you were like a 2, you were, you know. So
was this guy? Oh,
it's in like 1948.
Got it.
So it's like
1 through
this
6. That's
random.
random.
Yeah, it's like 1 through 6, and that's why it's like Kinsey 6 gay, because he's like
that's
off the
terrifying.
scales.
Yeah.
No, it's horrible. But I'm just saying, like it's like little details like that like you wouldn't. There's so many little tiny
There's a lot
details
of references.
in it. Yeah.
And
I think
one of
it's
the reasons
brilliant.
it makes it so rewatchable.
Yeah.
Because I've seen this movie like 10 times.
Yeah.
It's a good time every time.
Yeah, it's not dated. Like it's still, you can still watch it, and like it's still relatable.
I don't know. I think some things don't hold up that well, but it's like I rewatch it and I'm like, yeah, that was appropriate for at the time or what was happening at the time.
Like what doesn't hold up for you?
I don't
The shoes.
the shoes. No, I don't want to get into a fight with Stacy, but the fact that she's like, oh, all these like rapey 80s movies are my ideal of love, and I'm like,
But people still love those.
Yeah, it's just like that part doesn't hold up as well, but maybe that's also because of how many video essays have come out and how many, just things have come out that examine this media and people being a little bit more media literate. And there was just a recent, sexual assault lawyer analyzes old movies and she points out all the different, offensive.
I just think it's different when you
people-
grow up with those movies. They just have a different
But
perception
does
for
she
you.
grow up with those movies? She's not old enough to have
guess
grown
so. I
up
don't
with those
know.
movies. That's the one thing that I find strange. Like, she's not, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you
But
wouldn't.
we
have.
don't have to,
But she also I don't know. She seems to be a little bit more interested.
like retro.
Yeah, a little retro. So if she did kind of, those movies came out in the 80s. Like, I shouldn't have watched them. Like, I was,
right.
I watched them because,
They're still popular.
yeah, they were still popular. No,
today.
not that. I was just kind of like a movie buff. Like, I loved
Right.
watching old movies. And it was something that we did, with my sisters. So it's like a different relation. Like, I have a different
association
Yeah,
with it.
exactly.
Yeah. Hmm. Another line that I absolutely love is the mom coming up with the present. And Emma Stone goes, put it in the pile of gifts from my other suitors. And it's empty. Like, there's nothing there. I find this movie so funny.
Chubby's getting a little kick out of herself over there.
It's just, there's so many. I just have so many great lines written down.
There's a lot of memorable lines in this movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
the butter knife is a gateway knife.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I do have a question about that last musical number, but I think it's just supposed to be a silly, it's not supposed to make sense. The movie's making fun of itself because I'm like, why are there spotlights in the gym? Why is the principal not interfering in any of this?
Well, did you ever see Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I tried.
Okay, well, see, there's a scene with him ending up in the parade.
No, it shows it in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
of those snippets. Yeah.
It's again another.
well, the movie is constantly referencing these old movies.
But
yeah.
that's why I'm like, I know it's not supposed to make sense.
No, it's
just
not supposed
silly.
to make sense. It's supposed to be ridiculous.
Apparently, there was a line in there where she goes, "Oh, I can't stay to detention. Like, I have a date with the guy I like." And that was a dub over because apparently she said in the script it said, "Oh, I have a date with my boyfriend." And at that point, it wasn't yet established that they were even dating or together.
Yeah.
So they had to do a voiceover. So what her mouth is saying boyfriend, but they changed it to her being like the guy I like. So that was
I
interesting.
didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I find it weird. So the guy who wrote this movie, this happens all the time. There's these little cult movies. This guy who wrote this movie. He's the only writing credit. He hasn't done anything else besides a couple TV episodes since. I don't get how this is a cult movie that's super rewatchable. How does one person write this and then never does anything
Yeah, and
memorable
he wrote
again?
the script in the main part in a week, and then he took
I
an
didn't know
extra
that.
2 weeks to write the last 10 pages. But the first part he literally wrote 110 pages in less
interesting.
than a week.
Burt Royal.
Yeah.
I always find that strange. And this happens all the time. It seems like people do one great thing and then you never hear from them in Hollywood. Meanwhile, the guy who made a bunch of shitty X-Men movie gets to direct another shitty X-Men movie. I don't understand.
But I know not a lot of the comedy lines were either improvised, and the director also put a lot of them in, or at least that's
Sure.
what he said in the commentary.
No, a lot of those comedies are always, there's so much improvisation.
He
There
says
was such a cast of comedians in
talent.
this. I think they just they said that they took a lot, let everybody kind of influence it because it was
because I know the director said he was really proud of that line where Todd says, "See you in the salt mines," and Emma Stone's like, "Yeah, nobody laughs at that. It's not funny. Nobody gets it." And I'm like, "I think it's funny." He's like, "I know it's dumb. I just really like it."
But that's basically Judd Apatow's career. I don't know if Judd Apatow is all that funny, but he gets he just puts a bunch of people in a movie and then lets them improvise.
Well, you know, like the whole scene of her like filming on her laptop is actually they let her do that all by herself.
Right.
So like all of the webcam stuff, like where you see her filming, she didn't have a director. She did that by herself in her own room, like 14 hours. It took her 14 hours.
They did it like
Yeah.
all
Oh my
day.
God.
It was a
Yeah,
really long
all
day.
by herself, and
Yeah.
she's so anal. She like repeated
Right.
it, like she kept redoing everything, and
She was saying
finally,
how
like
that
her
was a really
roommate
long
was
day.
like, "Yeah," the roommate was like, "Okay, you're done. Like, send that shit
Yeah,
in."
it's like a very American way to do comedy, where it's not really in the script, if at all. It's so much improvisation and.
What, you think other cultures don't do a lot of improvisation?
No, I know they. I don't know.
There's a lot of influence, like the meerkat scene. Like, I'm sorry, he's not lobster
beaver?
Todd is a beaver.
Yeah.
It was actually supposed to be like a meerkat in the original, and he was supposed to be jumping out of a trash can, or she was supposed to be jumping out of a trash can, and they like
funny.
switched it. Yeah, so there's like a lot of like changes to the original script.
No, it's just a lot of like verbal. I don't know, a lot of verbal comedy, I guess. And then you think of someone like Edgar Wright, like Hot Fuzz, where I'm sure there's some improvisation, but
Right,
it's so
it's so
meticulously calculated and thought out
And
ahead of
every
time.
line references something
It's just different types of
else.
comedy. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Where I know that wasn't made up on the spot. Some of the stuff he does, like he's been thinking about doing that for 3 years. you
Right.
know?
That's it? Anybody else got anything?
No, it's just a
that's
good, solid movie. You know, I think we'll be watching this 30 years from now, having a good laugh. It's Earth Day.
It's a day.
Like a lot of gifts from this movie. I feel like,
Constantly, I
Just-
see Stanley Tucci
Yeah.
like popping up.
which
I
is
hear
just
like a
kind
whole
of
hot meme with that shirt. You know, he like
Oh,
became
yeah,
like
yeah.
a sex symbol after that, like the hot dad.
which I think it's funny. That's going to be like a way things stay relevant. You know, there's going to be a gift for that movie like 20 years from now. People
Yeah.
are like, "Where's that from?" Oh, Easy A. Let's watch that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's wrap this up. Easy A, thanks for listening. You guys can always find us on Instagram and the Twitter at Modern Life Pod. You can email us. Email address is modernlifepod@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you guys. Suggestions, feedback, etc. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.